This is the Chapter 1 test review for 4th grade. So the first one says select a number for the blank that will make the true comparison. Mark all that apply. So what this is saying is 703,209 is greater than which numbers? So we're essentially looking for something that is smaller than this number. So when we are looking at this, we look at each place value. So if we look at the period, this says 703,000. So I know that anything that is less than 703,000 is automatically going to work. So that means that this A will work since we have 702,000. So then I am going to line them up by their place value so I can check each, because a lot of these look very, very similar. So I'm just going to copy them all down. So I'm lining them up by their place value. Okay, now when I have these lined up, this is the number I want everything to be smaller than or less than. Well, I automatically can see that since these ones have a 3 in the tens place or 10,000s place, those are both out. So those ones couldn't possibly work. So then they all have 703,000. So now I'm going to look at the ones period. I've got a 2 in the the hundreds place. So since this one has a 0 in the hundreds place, I know automatically that this one is smaller than my number. So then I look at the next one. So this one is, I have 703,000, a 2 in the hundreds place, a 0 in the tens place. So since this one has a 9 in the tens place, I know that it is bigger than my number, so it won't work. So I keep going, and this one has a 0 in the tens place just like my number, and it has a 9 in the ones place. So these are the exact same, so they won't work either, because I want something that is less than my number. So 703,209 is greater than these two numbers. This one is going to be larger than my number or greater than, and this one is equal to. So that means the only two that are less than my number are these two. All right, number 2, Nancy wrote the greatest number that can be made using each of these digits exactly once. So we want to make the biggest number possible. To do that, we obviously want to use the first number, or the largest number, as our first or our largest place value. And then I'm just going to look at which digits are the next smallest. I'm going to put all the digits in order from biggest to smallest, and that's going to make my largest number possible. And then the second part, so it says, how do I know this is the biggest? I used the largest numbers in the largest place values. Now it says, what is the least number that can be made? So we're going to do the same thing, but this time we're going to go the smallest. So I'm going to start with the smallest digit and put that in my largest place value. So I have 1, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9. So 134,589. Why is the 4 greater than the value of the 5? Well, the 4 is equal to 4,000. The 5 in this number is only equal to 500. All right, moving on to question number 3. So on this one, it says, write the name of each mountain peak in the box that describes its height in feet. So if the number is in between 14,000 and 14,300, it's going to go here. If it's greater than 14,300, it's going to go here. So 14,345 is greater than 14,300, so it's going to go here. So I'm going to put Blanca over here. And I'm going to mark it because that one's done. Crestone Peak, 14,294, is less than this. So Crestone is going to go over here. 14,064, it's greater than 14,000 but less than 14,301. So Humboldt is going to go here. Mount Whitney is 14,494, which is greater than 14,301. So I'm going to just put Whitney over here. University is 14,470, so it also goes over here. So I'm looking at the place values and I see that it has a 4 in the hundreds place, and that means it's bigger than the 3 in my hundreds place. And then White Mountain is 14,246. It's less than that 3 in the hundreds place, so I know it's going to go over here, and I'm just going to put white. Now it says circle the name of the tallest peak. Well, we know that these three are obviously going to be taller than these three because these ones are in between 14,301 and 14,500. So I need to look at these three and decide which one is the biggest. So I'm going to go ahead and line them up so I can double check. So this is Whitney. And then let's see, University is 14,470, and Blanca is 14,345. I want to see which one is the tallest or the largest. So this one's automatically out, so it's between University and Mount Whitney. They both have a 4 in the hundreds place, but Mount Whitney has a 9 in the tens place. So that means Mount Whitney is the largest or tallest mountain. So Mount Whitney. Because we know it's the tallest because it is the greatest number. The greatest value, we could say. Okay, number 5. Mr. Rodriguez bought 420 pencils for the school. If there are 10 pencils in a box, how many boxes did he buy? So that means we want to look at how many groups of 10 are there in 420. Well, here's the tens position, and everything in front of it is included in my answer. So that means there are 42 groups of 10 in 420. Number 6, Bobby and Cheryl each rounded the number 745,829 to the nearest 10,000. So I'm going to rewrite that number, round it to the nearest 10,000. So the 4 is in my 10,000s place. I look to the number behind it, which is a 5. 0 to 4, we follow the floor. 5 to 9, climb the vine. That means I'm going higher. So that means that everything in front stays the same. My 4 goes up to a 5, and everything that's behind that underlined value turns into zeros. So that means that the correct answer is 750,000. We want to know who's correct. So Bobby is correct. Explain the error that was made. So Cheryl rounded down, not up. Okay, on to our next section. So number 7 says the total season attendance for a college team's home games rounded to the nearest 10,000 was 270,000. So we're going to round each one of these numbers to the nearest 10,000. So I'm going to go through and underline the 10,000s place. And we're going to look at the number behind it. This one rounds up. That's a 0. This one rounds down. This one, a 4 tells us to round down. And this one, a 6 tells us to round up. So when we round these, the 6 rounding up would go to a 7. So this one would round to 270,000. So that's a yes. This one rounds down to 260,000. So that's a no. This one rounds down to 270,000, so that's a yes. And this one rounds up to 210,000, so that's a no. So on your test, you need to actually round each one of them instead of just guessing. Okay, the table shows recent populations for Sacramento, California. So question 8 says, how many children are under 10 years old? Well, there's not a category that says under 10, but we know that under 5, those kids are less than 10. 5 to 9, those kids are less than 10. 10 to 14, oh, now they're bigger than 10. So we need to figure out these two numbers combined. So that means I'm going to do 35,010 plus 31,406. And when I add those together, I get 66,416. Now the next question tells me, we want to know how many people are between the ages of 20 and 49. That means they're 20 or older, but they're less than 49. So I'm looking through my category. Here's 20 to 34. So those guys are over 20. 35 to 49, these guys are in between that as well. So then I have 50 to 64. Those guys are too old. So again, I'm combining these two numbers. So we have 115,279 and 92,630. When I add those together, 7 plus 3 is 0, so I got to carry my 1. 6 plus 2 is 8 plus 1 is 9. 5 plus 2 is 7. 9 plus 1 is 10. Carry my 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. So I have 207,909. Now it says how many more is our clue that we're going to be subtracting on this one. Children are under the age of 5 than between 10 and 14. So under 5 is 35,010. And ages 10 to 14 are 30,253. Now when I write this subtraction problem, I have to make sure that my smaller number is on the bottom. So 0 minus 3, I can't do that. I'm going to have to borrow. 10 minus 3 is 7. 0 minus 5, I can't do that, but I can't borrow from this guy. So I've got to borrow from clear over here. Now I have 10 minus 5 is 5. 9 minus 2 is 7. 4 minus 0 is 4. 3 minus 3 is 0. So my correct answer is 4,757. All right, so the next ones, we are deciding if the value is correct. And the easiest way to do this, anything that's behind this place value, when we're trying to figure out the value, should be 0. So this is in the 10,000s. So 7 10,000s is 70,000. So that is false. The 5 in this one, we have a 5, 0 in the 10s, 0 in the 1s, 500. Yes, that is true. A 2, I have a 2 in the 10s and a 0 in the 1s, so that is false. And a 4 in the 10,000s, so that would be 0 in the thousands, 0 in the hundreds, 0 in the tens, 0 in the ones. 40,000 is true. Now the next one, we have the number 403,871, and we're going to see which forms equal the same amount. So when I read this, it says 403,000. And remember, when we have words, when we see the word thousand, that's our comma. 801. So that one looks like this. That does not match our number. 403,000, well, there's my first period, so 403, comma means thousand. 71, which means I have 0 hundreds and 71. So that one is also incorrect. So then I have 403,000, there it is again. So 403, comma means thousand. 871 in my second period, 871. Yes, that is a correct form. 400 plus 38,000. Well, I don't have 38,000, so that one, because of right here, is wrong. Now, in this one, I have 400,000s. Yes, I have 400,000s. 3,000s. Yes, I have 3,000s. 8 in the hundreds. 7 in the tens. 1 in the ones. That one is the expanded form of our number. Now, if I have 400,000s, that is correct. 3,000s, that is correct. 800s is correct. We do have 7 tens and we do have 1 1. So that one is also the same value. Okay, number 13. Lexi, Susie, and Rael are playing online word games. Rael scores 100,034 points. Lexi scores 9,348 fewer than Rael. Fewer means subtracting. That doesn't mean this is Lexi's score. That means we have to subtract that score. So here's Rael's score. Subtract Lexi's 9,348. 14 minus 8 is 6. 2 minus 4, I can't do it. So I've got to borrow from Claire over here. Borrow from there. Borrow from there. Borrow from there. Okay, 12 minus 4 is 8. 9 minus 3 is 6. 9 minus 9 is 0. 9 minus nothing is 9. And 0 minus nothing is 0. So this score is Lexi's score. And then it says Susie scored 9,749 more than Lexi. So I have Lexi's score now, 90,686. I'm going to add 9,749. And when I add those together, 8 plus 4 is 12, plus 1 is 13, 6 plus 7 is 13, plus 1 is 14, 1 plus 9 is 10, carry my 1, 1 plus 9 is 10. So that means that Susie's score is 100,435. There were 13,501 visitors to museum in June. What is this number rounded to the nearest 10,000? Well, in my 10,000s place, I have a 1, and I look behind it, and it's a 3, which tells me to round down. So that means that I would round to 10,000. Now, I will include the last portion of this test review on a second part video. So when you're watching this one, you'll continue with the Chapter 1 test review part 2.